Hello and greetings from Iceland. Today's topic is Bárðarbunga volcano again, or the giant above the mantle plume, since the latest earthquake swarm is simply on another level after a magnitude 4.8 earthquake last night. And things got so hectic for a while that the aviation warning code was raised to code yellow, which was no surprise since over 400 earthquakes have been detected so far. And this is, of course, a direct continuation of a story that I've mentioned from time to time. Bárðarbunga began a new phase of volcanic activity in 2014, and it's preparing for the second eruption. And the earthquakes there, they represent the expansion of the magma chamber. Something is snapping from time to time, as if we were blowing air into an old crumpled soda bottle. So despite fairly large earthquakes, we don't always get aftershocks, like when tectonic earthquakes occur. But not this time though. It was the aftershocks that made the authorities issue this aviation warning, since this is likely the strongest earthquake swarm since 2014. So what is going on? And that brings me back to a recent update where I spoke about the big bulge under Iceland, often associated with the melting glaciers. But I was listening to an interview with a university professor recently who said that the ground uplift at Bárðarbunga is now approximately 25 to 30 meters. And when we look at the big bulge here again, and the centimeters we are talking about on the Reykjanes Peninsula, it has to be fairly obvious that this enormous volcano is responsible for at least some part of this image. But it is, however, strange why the science community isn't talking about this elephant under my country, because this doesn't look right. And I somehow never expected this volcano to be a problem in the near future, because scientists have a good argument that the system has not recovered from the magma that erupted in 2014. The caldera drop during that eruption was 65 meters. And when we look at the ground uplift in that context, it's not yet full. But looking deeper, it's not difficult to see that the system's discharge in 2014 was only a fraction of the actual capacity, since Bárðarbunga is described as a large dynamic system, and when the larger and deeper systems go off, that's when we get eruptions of monumental size. And the last one was during the 15th century. But despite of that, we don't need large eruptions to create huge problems. And the statistical odds make an eruption under the ice the most likely outcome now. And the worst case scenario is a long eruption that melts huge amounts of ice, that is up to 900 meters thick, until the caldera walls just can't hold back. And that's when you get a mega flood. And it will be the exact location of such flood that will determine which waterway would take the hit, or if the water would go to the north or the south. So we have many layers of uncertainty. And it has been on my list to make a video about the flood paths, all possible flood paths. But it takes time that I don't always have. I can, however, say that I will be filming in the Highlands this year, like I do every year. I have already filmed parts of them, but this is a huge task to cover all this land. And I am somehow under the impression now that this giant could wake up sooner than I expected just a few months ago. So I've been looking at some of the roads close to the volcano, hoping that they are good enough for my car, and hoping that I can get close to the caldera without a modified mountain car. But I'm not sure yet. And right now, it looks as Bárðarbunga is chilling again, and this might be over. It would not be a surprise. But as I already mentioned, the earthquake swarms are getting more frequent, so this could be a period of unrest that could actually fade out, or there are some dynamics there at work that are not obvious right now. It's just not possible to see right now where this will lead us, or if this is a milestone to a regular Bárðarbunga eruption or one of those events that come every few hundred years, which is of course one of the possible scenarios. So we will just have to wait and see. And we are actually getting closer to summer solstice now, so I've been working every evening and nights recently, shooting more footage than I can process, at least until it starts raining again, and I will try to find a chance soon to come up with a good show. With many thanks to those who have been supporting my work, because this would have been impossible without you. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.